Hi, I'm Christopher Randall with The Cottage in Shreveport. As a locally owned family business, The Cottage is always proud to support our local culinary arts community and to sponsor the Louisiana Food Prize. We hope you enjoy the presentation, In the Kitchen with the Food Prize, filmed right here at our showroom Sub-Zero and Wolf Live Kitchen. We hope you enjoy the demo and invite you to visit us at our website, thecottage.com, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, or visit our soon-to-be expanded showroom in the Piermont Common at 6505 Line Avenue, Suite 3 in Shreveport, Louisiana. Now, without further ado, Viva la Food Prize!
Viva la Food Prize!
Hey everybody, Melissa Brandon with the Food Prize, and welcome to In the Kitchen with Food Prize, presented by Rosestone Wealth Advisors. We are so excited to be here today with you, and I mean, if you've looked around, you know where we are. Big thank you to the Cottage for letting us be in this beautiful space, and of course, thanks to all of you for tuning in. Now, you know what I gotta do right now. It's the same thing I do every time, and that is talk about Prize Fest 2021. Man, I cannot wait to see all of you there. And when I mean see, I really mean see this time. We're gonna be taking it back to the streets 2 weekends, September 24th through October 3rd. And all you food lovers, keep your eye on that second weekend. On Saturday, October 2nd, we're gonna have our celebrity chefs back, and we're gonna be doing demos at the Music Prize Garage, and you are not gonna wanna miss those. So make sure, head over to prizefest.com where you can find information about all of these things and tickets, all the stuff you need to know. All right, that's my plug for today because we have bigger fish to fry. And so it is now my pleasure, before we get to our magic chef of the day, to bring up Havard Lyons. Havard, get on up here.
How are you doing?
I mean, can you tell? I'm doing good. This is like makes my heart happy, just like.
Well, I've been looking forward to this all year, so this is gonna be great.
Oh, I know. I'm like all day, all week, all of the alls, right? So let me ask you this, Howard. I know Rosestone is kind of helping us put this on. Like, are you like the person that cooks in your family?
Not me, really. My wife jokes that I have a hard time boiling water, but Nellie is sort of like MacGyver in the kitchen. She is magical, and I'll open up the refrigerator. I don't think there's any food in there. She can make a 3-course meal without thinking twice about it. So she's definitely the cook.
I love that. Well, here's what I have to say. Here's what I'm gonna throw out there at you, Howard. Is take it all in today. And go home and you be the MacGyver for now.
Well, that was really one of the secret things I was hoping to gain by sponsoring all of this was that maybe I'd learn a few tricks and I could impress my wife.
I love that. Well, I am gonna let you, since you're here with us today, I'm gonna let you do the honors. Why don't you bring up our chef?
Well, I am very pleased to announce today's chef, Gabriel Balderas, who is one of my wife's absolute favorite, mine too. We love his restaurants, and we're very excited to have him over here.
Come on. Take it.
Well,
welcome.
Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here with you guys.
Great seeing you again. So I know obviously you're not from here in Shreveport. Tell me a little bit about your journey here and a little bit about your restaurants.
Of course, our restaurants, first, coming to Shreveport for us was a very, it's a short story. We were brought in by a restaurateur in town, and the first time we came to Shreveport, we fell in love with Shreveport, a small community, very good community, very family oriented, and we loved it. We fell in love with Shreveport, and we started our first restaurant 5 years ago, and 2 years later we opened a second restaurant. And we couldn't be happier here in Shreveport.
Well, your food is absolutely fantastic, and my wife, of course, loves authentic Mexican food, and we absolutely adore all of the things that you do. So tell me a little bit about what you're going to be showing us today.
Well, today we're going to be making a crudo tostado, which is a very amazing summer dish for our weather here in Louisiana. And Shreveport is a bit too humid and hot at times.
That's very
So
understated, yeah. Well, I'm so excited because I just, that sounds so refreshing. You know, crudo, like light, summery. Harvard, I don't know. Should we like get out of the way and let this happen?
I'm going to let you have at it and be back
Well, thank you very much.
to taste it
yeah,
once
for
you're done.
Thank you for having us. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna start off with a tortilla, which freshly made earlier. We made it from fresh ground corn. We're gonna move into our fish. We're gonna slice in fillet. We'll show you how when we get to it. And we're also gonna have a spicy aioli that we're gonna put on our base and our garnishes. So we do a quick rundown. We're gonna start off with tostado, fish, our sauce, and then our garnishes at the end. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. We're gonna turn on the fire. And a little oil. When we're doing our tostado, we wanna make sure we have plenty of oil in the pan. So our tostado are going to be frying. We wanna make sure they fry evenly. A lot of times the tortilla can get a little bended or can bubble up, and we want to make sure that doesn't happen. So we take a fork, we poke it multiple times so those bubbles don't happen on our tortilla. Then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna give it a few more seconds for this oil to get hot. We want to make sure that the oil is hot. If you see the oil, we don't want it to get where it's smoking. That means it's a little too hot. But we want to make sure that the oil it's almost like water in the pan. So that's important. Otherwise, your tortilla is going to be soaked in oil, and that means your oil is cold. So we want to make sure that as soon as you put your tortilla, you start hearing the sizzling. So we're gonna go ahead and try it. And as we do that, we need to let it cook on one side, and we're going to turn it once. While this is going on, if it starts bubbling up for any reason, we can poke it with your fork. This is actually the traditional way of frying in Mexico. You use just a tiny bit of oil. We don't use a deep fryer. We use very little oil. So on this one, it seems like the tortilla is sort of sizzling, and so we want to make sure the tortilla, you can see how it's sizzling. One side, it's ready, so we're gonna turn it. We're gonna allow a couple minutes. We want to make sure the tortilla is crispy, cooked all the way through. These tortillas you can find them at the grocery store. Not the exact same tortilla, but this specific tortilla we make it ourselves from corn that we freshly ground. But you can find these tortillas at the grocery store, like the tiny street taco tortilla, I will say. You can see the smoke coming out of the pan. So our oil is extremely hot. We're gonna lower our heat a little bit. And I'm gonna go ahead and this one is actually ready. I'm gonna allow a little bit of the oil to drip. Drain a little bit of that oil. I'm gonna go into a napkin. Make sure that we put a napkin so the excess oil can be absorbed. And then we're gonna go ahead and fry melisas, creases. And we're gonna go ahead and fry the next. I'm doing 2 at a time, but you can I suggest to do just 1 at a time to make sure that the crunchiness is there and it's not stale. Go ahead and turn this one quickly. Tostadas in Mexico, we call it the vitamin T, because every dish or food that's from Mexico that starts with the letter T is like delicious. So tacos, tortas, tamales, tostadas. So we call it the vitamin T. Also, it's very, very traditional to eat tostadas. Christmas. It's a dish that you prepare for a special occasions, gatherings. It's a very simple dish, but very, very tasty. And again, we're doing, some of these are kind of popping up. I want to make sure that you use your fork to kind of, if we don't do that, then we'll end up with a puffy tortilla, a puffy taco. Yeah, growing up is, I will eat all different kinds of tostados. We will eat tinga, picadillo, which are very authentic dishes in Mexico. We do a cure meats with tostados. Of course, fish tostado with seafood. I think this also ready. We're gonna take them out. The excess of the tostado don't have to be 100% crunchy. The center can be a little bit soggy. However, here we're looking for a very crunchy tostado for this dish with the seafood. I want to make sure we have that crunch. So now we're gonna move into the fish. We're gonna slice it. We're gonna prepare it. First, I want to talk about the fish. We want to make sure that we have a fresh fish fillet. Any white meat fish will work for this dish. You can also do a tuna. You can also use tuna. We like to use the white fish because it's tender. It's tender and it pairs really well with the sauce and the texture of the tortilla as well. But we also like to do this specific dish that we picked today because it's something that you can find here off the coast of Louisiana. You could use a grouper, red fish. You could use a flounder, snapper. You could use a sheep's head or sea bream, fish that is you can find here easily in Louisiana. I have here this one side of the fillet. We want to make sure that you don't have any pin bones or fish bones in here. So I want to make sure that I run down my finger in the fish, make sure we don't have any, because we're going to basically slice it. And when you're slicing, if you run into the bone, you're not going to be able to get a perfect slice. So we want to make sure that there's not really any bones at all. So it seems like we don't have any bones here. So yeah, when you're looking for a bone, you have to sort of look always. The side that you're gonna find the bones will be mostly on the side, at the thicker side, the end, not the tail of the fish, but the neck side or the loin side of the fillet. That's what you're looking for. You want to make sure you don't feel you don't get pricked by the pin bone. So that's what we're looking for. I guess we did a good job filleting it. And so we're gonna go ahead and one thing we like to do in the restaurant is when we have the fillet, there's two sides of the fillet. We have a loin side and we have the belly side. So we're gonna go ahead and split the fish, the belly, we put it aside, and we like to use the loin side for the tostados. So I like to start, and what we want to do is slice a thin slices as thin as possible. And you can do it on bias, kind of like I'm doing right now. You can get it as thinner as you like. And the reason being is because we're using this specific recipe we're making. It doesn't require cooking. So we're doing a crudo. Crudo, it's basically raw fish, seasoned well with your whatever that may be, oil-based sauce or creaminess, a creamy sauce, or a aioli, or so we have our nice slices of fish now. And what I like to do is I like to go ahead and thin them out. And you have to make sure we cut all the way through. So we want to make sure it's as thinner as you can get it will be better. Just because it's a texture thing. Most people are afraid to eat the fish like this, but this is the best way to eat the fish. Thinly sliced, fresh off the boat, or off the fish or the fish market. You know, if you go to the here in Shreveport, if you go to Whole Foods, they carry a lot of fresh fish. And one thing that we like to do is when we look for fish, fresh fish, we want to make sure that it doesn't have the white. It's a bright. It has the brightness, and it looks, and also texture, the aroma. There shouldn't be any aroma to fish, to fresh fish, no smell whatsoever. We want to make sure that it doesn't have the off pale looking color. If it does have that, that means that it's been washed down with water, and the amount of chlorine is enough to affect the texture and the color of the fish. Just tap water alone, the chlorine found in tap water alone could change the texture of the fish and the color. And these can be used for, we use at the restaurant, we make a fish taco. For this specific fish, I mean, you could use it for tostado, but it will be very thin, a thinner slice. So we like to use that for fish taco or for a fish fillet, maybe a lunch portion. We're gonna move into making the sauce for the tostado. So here we got a mixing bowl. We make our own mayo that you can buy. You can make your own, or you can buy this at the grocery store. We like to use a little bit of the mayo, and then we have a spicy sauce that we make. We're gonna combine that with the mayo. This is we use a chile de árbol paste that we make. So we take dry peppers, we hydrate them, and then we puree them, and we add a little bit of salt. If you don't have your own chili paste, you can use chipotle peppers that you can buy at the grocery store, or you can use a little bit of your blackened seasoning. You know, most people here in Louisiana love to have some blackened seasoning. But we love to add to this dish is the spiciness that the peppers give you. So, I mean, you can add jalapenos if you want, any type of pepper that you would like to give you a little bit of kick in the dish. So we have our aioli and chili paste mixed in well. So we have our sauce ready. We're gonna move into getting one of these tostados. And I want to make sure that we're able to, I'm gonna make a couple of them to make sure that we get it, you guys are able to see well. We're gonna put a little bit of the oily sauce on the tostado. You can put a nice thick layer of it. So remember, this is what's going to season your fish. So we have to make sure that we have a thick layer of your sauce. The flavor profile of the sauce and the fish, it's a really good combination. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to our fish. And what I want to do is once I grab each individual slice, I want to make sure that if I can stretch it a little, I can stretch it so we mold it to the shape of the tortilla as we're making it. So basically the goal is to be able to cover the tortilla, the whole surface of the tortilla with the fish, to make sure that every bite we take, we taste all the ingredients. So there we have that one. I'm gonna move into the smaller one. I'm a big fan. I didn't used to be a fan of eating raw fish, but the more you handle the fish, the more you realize that the better way of eating the fish is little to no heat. It tastes the best. You're able to taste the actual fish like that. Now that we have our fish over our sauce and our tortilla, we're going to move into our garnishes. And I love to use the avocado because it adds the creaminess and the tenderness of the texture. Avocados for us is when you go to the grocery store, you want to make sure that it's firm. There's two ways of avocados. There's the firm avocado that is great for slicing and it keeps the shape, or there's the mushy one that is for guacamole or purees or sauces. We like to use avocado that is firm, and when you go to the grocery store, if you're looking for a perfect avocado, you want to make sure that when you press on it, you're actually making an indentation of the avocado, but it comes back at you. It doesn't stay. I like to slice it. We're going to go ahead and slice this to go all the way around I like to start from the tip all the way around, and then we do that. It's a perfect avocado, beautiful avocado. You take the pit, push it up with our thumb, and then we're gonna go ahead and slice for the garnish. When you're slicing for the tostado, you wanna make sure that as you slice, you take the slice out, so it doesn't fall apart, it doesn't break on you. Handling the knife is also another thing that you have to be very well aware. If your knife is too sharp, I wouldn't recommend anybody to slice in their hand, because it's a you have to be careful slicing in your hand like that. I shouldn't be doing it, but I guess I'm used to doing it. I'm used to doing it at the restaurant. Avocado is all fat texture, so it reacts with the temperature of your hand. So if you hold it for too long, it gets warm. It's easier when the avocado is it's cooler temperature, not so hot. So we have our sliced avocado on top of our tostado. We're gonna go ahead and do we like to add all our seafood dishes at the restaurant. We like to add lemons in some sort of way, whether it's the peel, the juice, or the entire lemon. So what I'm doing right now is I'm taking my lemon, and I have a lemon zester. It's called microplane. It's the best thing you can have for zesting. We like to do this because it adds a different texture, different flavor to the tostado. It's wonders to the dish. If you make one without, it's not going to be the same. So to me, this is one of the most important things on the dish. Your lemon zest, and then we're going to go ahead and garnish it. We have here a little alfalfa sprouts, but you can garnish it with any other garnish that you may like. We have at the restaurant, we use radishes, baby radishes. We use a wasabi. We use basil. We use macro cilantro. We use different types of herbs that complement the flavor of the dish. Now that we have this done, we're gonna go ahead and move to We have a little heirloom peppers, which they have awesome color. These peppers we grow in our garden. We love peppers, so we have probably 6, 7 different kinds of peppers. We have from a black pepper to a red, green. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and season them with black pepper and salt. So we're gonna add a little black pepper. Make sure we get them well seasoned. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and add a little salt. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and plate it. So we're done with our tostado. Doesn't it look beautiful? Now we're gonna invite our friends, Melissa and Howard, to taste it.
Oh yeah, we don't need a whole lot of an invitation, Gabe.
No, I've been watching this and am so excited about it. Tostados were the first dish my wife ever made for me, and so I'm real excited about this because the ceviche I love. I've never had this dish, so I'm excited about trying it.
I know. I'm just gonna. I mean, cause we're here, right? Just a little. Woo! I like the. I know, Gabe. It's like it's very gauche.
That's exciting.
I know. It's like if we were at the fancy restaurant, people would be like, oh.
It's like fireworks.
I know, right? Okay, so Howard, dig in. I'm like right behind you, but I want to get a little something. And this is, first of all, like what a beautiful dish. And
Well, thank you. I hope you guys enjoy it.
Are you kidding me? Like this just looks so perfect and summery. Mm. Mm-hmm. It's so good, good bite.
That was my problem. I tried to take too small a bite. That is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
I'm glad you like it, guys.
Yep, just really fresh fish. The heat, the fat. I love it. Delicious. Right? You could probably throw a couple of these back. I know. I'm trying to like be cool, like not like keep shoving it down my throat.
Maybe a little spicy.
No, like I get it.
Oh no, it's a great compliment. This is the heat of the pepper along with the fish. This is great.
So like if people came by like Zuzul, because I know Zuzul is where you do a lot of the coastal cuisine.
Yes.
Like we can find something like this?
Yes.
Something
of course.
at least similar?
Yes, we do. We actually have very similar tostados on the menu. So there's tuna, there's campachi, redfish, swordfish. So we have some sort of tostado with fish.
And then El Cabo Verde probably has the more traditional tostadas.
Yes. And the Cabo Verde, most of the chicken, beef tostado, we do the more traditional tostadas there.
Well, I don't know about you, but like this is on my summer menu. Like,
Oh no, this is awesome. It's going to be great.
I know, it's so simple. Like you really just like put this together. Like,
So I really do think I might be able to impress my wife if I do this. Maybe I'll make this for her when she comes home.
I love that. See, here we are. And
So let's.
oh, well, I was just gonna say. I mean, you know that we're not gonna get out of here without a Vivo, right?
All right.
All right.
That's good.
Okay, get your glass, please.
I wish we were having tequila for.
I know. Next time. It's just a reason to get back together again. All right, on the count of 3, a little Viva la Food Prize. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Viva la Food Prize!
Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
Woo! Yum. Just eat more of this. This is delicious.